So we have arrived at Chateau Siran.
Yes. We woke up the next day and went directly to a wine tasting, which was quite something.
Yeah.
And went to Chateau Siran.
And we did a tasting with the owner, Edouard, and basically we tried their current range. We tried their 2023 on Primeur, which was really... Actually, we'll get back to that in a minute, and I'll explain why.
Leave the Primeur.
Yeah, and then we did their Saint-Jacques de Siran. We did their S de Siran. Mm-hmm. So Saint-Jacques de Siran is a separate property. So it's not a second one, it's a different property that's not in Margaux. Then we did their S de Siran, which is, if you like, their entry-level Margaux, and then we did their Chateau Siran. And we did various different vintages of it. Do you have the list? Because I've forgotten exactly.
See, I did say.
You did, yeah. So we did 17, 18, 19, 20. And what was your favourite?
That's a tough one. Give me a second. What was your favourite?
I thought the 17 was drinking really well. The 18 was a bit tight.
I think the 2020 was my favourite. Actually.
I think the 20 was the one that I think is going to be the best
it needs
overall.
More
it needs more time, but it's also going to be drinking a bit younger. The 19, I think, is a long hauler.
But it's really nice and drinkable now.
Yeah. And the 19 is their 160th anniversary of their family taking over. So
it's a pretty bottle. We have it.
We've got it.
And we did a tasting note on it. I mean, we did tasting notes there, but we did a tasting note on this the week before we went.
Yeah.
And we will post that sometime shortly, whether it's before this video or not. I'm not sure. But it was just a really lovely tasting. Mm-hmm. They are so nice. We
really
got to see their bunker.
Oh,
which was very funny.
So we went from paradise to a bunker.
Yes, and it's literally like radioactive bunker signs everywhere, and but they have a tasting table down there, and they've got wines all the way back to the early 1900s, and just really, really cool. And then we went up on their rooftop, which is lovely, stunning, absolutely stunning.
Brilliant place to have lunch up there
with the flowers and the big table and a 360 view of their property.
Yeah. It's really cool because you're basically above all the sort of winery area, and then so you pan around, and then you've got this row of roofs, and then the chateau, and then just vineyards everywhere else. Absolutely lovely place to be.
It's out of a rom-com.
Yeah, it really is. Really is.
Yeah.
So Siran we loved.
Loved Siran. And then we left there.
And went to the Primeurs, which was an experience for Miller, who's never done it before.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
It was very challenging. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Peter was nice enough to let me test my palate, so he never told me what he thought. He made me write it down and then tell him, and then we would debate, and we didn't agree on everything.
No, we didn't.
At all, but we did have a lot of the same things, which I think as somebody who is learning to do things like mass tastings and buying, it was really a great experience to have.
But that's exactly what I did when I went there for the first time. I was there with Simon, the same chap we were there with from our supplier Thorman Hunt. I went there 5 years ago, and there were a couple of guys from Jersey who had, obviously being in Jersey, very easy to get across to do these on a regular basis. And what I did was I just went around and did everything on my own, and then talked to them when we were, sitting down for dinner or whatever, and learned that way. And that's exactly what we did.
Yep, and it was incredibly valuable. But let me explain, as somebody who's never been, what this experience was like. We arrive at this beautiful chateau.
Yes.
And it's just massive. Quite corporate, but huge.
Yeah, we were at La Lagune.
Yes.
Chateau de La Lagune.
And it needed to be huge because you walk into this room.
Massive tanks.
Huge tanks of wine. Yeah. Massive space. Absolutely stunning. Spotless.
Yeah.
And there are 16 tables of producers there.
Yeah. And all from the region.
So, yes, they break it down.
Yeah.
Region by region.
Yeah, it's the Union de Grand Cru de Bordeaux, and what they basically do is each chateau has the responsibility of hosting it, on a sort of round loop sort of thing, and it was La Lagune's turn this year. Sorry to interrupt, Carrie.
That's fine. But you get given a glass, a tasting book, which is over there. I will show you in a different video because we are going to do a favorite tasting notes from Primeur Week. video because there were some really highly entertaining ones. So stay tuned for that. But they give you that. They give you a big old book with all the information. And then you're just set loose.
Yeah.
And you go through and they fill your glass, you taste, you write your notes, you empty your glass, you do spit because I think a lot of my friends thought I was just going to go get totally pissed.
Yes.
I was like, no, we tasted. We didn't drink.
No.
But the tasting was exhausting.
Yes.
So you got your bottle of water.
Nobody believes me when I say that it's actual work.
But it is actual work, I will admit. But we tasted those 15 wines. By the end of that, we were a bit shot on our palates.
Yeah.
So
you then get back in the car, go to the next...
No.
All right.
Then you go to lunch.
Then you go to lunch.
So we then walk through their huge barrel room, which if you've been to Graham's, that's the only thing I have to compare it to.
Yeah.
Graham's. And you might have seen the pictures we posted on our socials.
Yeah.
But just rows of pristine barrels, all perfectly lit, very aesthetic. Go into their courtyard under these massive marquees, and the tasting room was fairly empty. Lunch was chock-a-block packed.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is there, all the producers are there eating, and they put on this lunch, a buffet lunch for everyone who goes. They're pouring wines. We had, a 15 La Lagoon Magnum?
A 15 La Lagoon Magnum. No, yeah.
It was bigger than Magnum. It was
and then
we had some white.
A white Rhone, because the La Lagoon's owned by the Frey family, who also own Paul Jablé. So they brought in their white Hermitage.
The white was really nice.
The white was very nice.
The red, I think, would have been nice, but it was a little...
There was a little bit of cork taint on the one.
But that's fine. We had this buffet. We had, oysters and crab cakes and chicken with some gravy that was absolutely phenomenal, and stuffed mushrooms, and then they had a whole table of cheese and dessert and coffees, and we were there for a while because
those little squishy apple things.
I know, they were mini bite-sized tartata, and good Lord, I was going to smuggle all of them back in my suitcase.
They were so good.
Stevie and I were just like,
yeah, give me more. Yeah.
But everything was really lovely. And then after having done that, drinking wine, by the way, not tasting, drinking glasses of wine that kept getting refilled.
Yes.
We get in the car and drive away
15 minutes, 20 minutes to the next appellation.
Stunning chateau. Do it all again, but this time with about 22 wines.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yes. So as a rough guide, you tell the story, I'll do the wine critic. Should we do that for these? Yeah. So Margaux, as a general rule, and this is why I skipped the Siran element, as a general rule, they're very inconsistent, and they're a bit showy. There are a few producers, Siran being one of them, that are actually producing wines that are a bit more precise and have got depth and complexity and
real pause really quickly. We are not going to go through all the wines we tasted here. However, we will, in either a newsletter or a blog post or whatever, do a full list and our impressions.
Yeah, but I think there were a few, of Siran being one, which showed not going for that showiness. Then we moved to Saint-Julien, which is a totally different thing.
I'd say, 80% of the wines we tasted we could have drank now.
Yeah, they were complex, elegant, balanced. 23 as a vintage is going to be a little bit more younger drinking. It's not going to be a stellar, big, blockbustery one, but the Saint-Julien was
just good drinking.
It just showed class, which is what you get in that appellation.
Sure. So we did that, and by this time we were all exhausted. The last table was a bit of a struggle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we get back in the car
and drove,
and we go north, and we go even further up into the Medoc. And we go to Pauillac next, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And they did some
Thank
Pauillacs
God
and they did some...
It was short.
Yeah, so Pauillac was quite short, but I was a bit underwhelmed. What was really weird was that they had some wines from the Northern Medoc, and the ones from the Northern Medoc were, to me, a bit more interesting. The Pauillacs were just a little bit charmless.
They were just a bit like drinking fancy grape juice.
Yes.
And that was not what I wanted to be doing. But you know what? We went, the Chateau was beautiful. There were a couple lovely, really classy wines there.
Yeah.
There were some I was kind of surprised by.
Yep.
And the rest were just forgettable.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to that last table, and this was only, 10 producers?
Yes.
In Pauillac? We got to that last table, the 5 of us are all like...
We're dying by that point. And so we finally get through the Primeurs.
And we go to get a beer.
Because we needed one.
So we sat in a lovely little restaurant on the high street of Boyac and had a very nice crisp beer. Our teeth were absolutely stained purple.
I have a brilliant photo of Miller, which she doesn't know that I have.
No.
Which is going to get posted on this video because
I
control this video, not her. It's the only damn thing I control in social media. And it's getting posted because it's phenomenal. You're
not allowed to do the hashtags or the tags, though, because you get them wrong.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
But
after
the beer, we got back in the car and drove to Tour de Bie.
And I think we'll stop there and do another one just on Tour de Bie.
That's because you love them so much.
I do love them.